Welcome to Nabeel Math Academy. This is Dr. Mohammed Nabeel. In this video, we are going to see the concept of limit and some of the problems. So the limit is the actual fundamental concept in the calculus which determines the behavior of the function in the neighborhood of the given points. So to understand the concept, let us take an example. Limit x approaches to 1, x plus 1. So this is a function. So I want to determine the limit x approaches to 1. So let us take this point here. You have the limit 1, x approaches to 1. I want to calculate the neighborhood points. So what should be the neighbor point here? So if it is 1.01, 1.001, so what should be the value here? So if I substitute the value here, so you will get 2.01. Similarly here we'll have 2.001. As the zeros increases, it approaches to 2. So it approaches to 2. So it approaches to 2. So 2.0001. And similarly, from the left side, let us take the value here. I will take here 0.9, 0.99, 0.999. So what should be the corresponding value of x? So I will substitute here. So what happened here? So it is 1.9, 1.99, 1.999. So if you take at the point, so from both sides it approaches to 2. So it approaches to 2. So this limit we call it as a left hand limit. Limit x approaches to 1 minus of x plus 1, and this is limit x approaches to 1 plus, that is the right hand limit. That is the right hand limit. So this one we call it as the left hand limit. Left hand limit. And this is the right hand limit, and it must be same. So when the limit is exists only if you have these two are equal. If it is not equal, we will say it doesn't exist. So this is the main results you have. So whenever the limit is exists means from the left side and from the right side it approaches to the same point. So then only the limit is exist. Then only the limit is exist. Let us take the next one here. If the limit, the right hand limit and left hand limits are not same, we say the limit does not exist. And here is this is a sum of the properties of the limits you have. If you have a two function f of x and g of x, so if you are approaching the limit, and one more thing here, the x is approaching to the 1. It is not say x is equal to 1. So it is approaching to 1. And this is the sum rule. If you have a two function, this is a linear property of the limits f of x plus g of x. You can apply the limits separately. So this is, you can apply the limit separately to the f and g. So you can apply the f and then you can apply the limit for the g. So this is the first rule. And similarly, if it is minus, you can apply the same thing, linear property. And if you have a constant, you can apply only the limit for the f of x, not for the constant, because k is a constant here. And since if it is a product of a two function, we can apply the limit for f of x product and limit apply for the g of x. So you will get a L plus L dot m, product of m. And similarly, this is a quotient rule. You can apply the limit for the numerator and denominator functions, and the condition is m is not equal to 0. If you are applying the limit in the g of x, the denominator should not be equal to 0. So if it is equal to 0, we say the limit doesn't exist. And here this is the power rule. When you have a function f of x to the power n, we can apply the limit inside the power. So you can apply the limit inside the bubble. This is actually limit x approaches to c f of x whole power n. So this is the meaning of this one. You can apply the limit for the inside. And similarly, if you have a root, so square nth root of f of x, the limit apply. So nth root, you can bring the limit inside. You can bring the limit inside f of x. F of x. So this is the two conditions we have. Now we will solve some of the problems here. The first problem, evaluate limit x approaches to 1. Limit x approaches to 1, x square plus 5x plus 1. So when you apply the limit, so actually here we have to replace the x value as 1. So this is a direct formula here. So we have to replace x in place of x as 1. So what happened here? 1 square plus 5 times of 1 plus 1. So which is equal 1 plus 5 plus 1, which is equal 7. It doesn't mean that we are saying x equal 1. We say x approaching to 1. X is approaching to 1. Now the next one here, this is the direct method. So this one we say here direct. So when you replace x as 1, you will get the direct value. Now number 2, so we will have limit x approaches. Evaluate the limit x approaches to 2, x square minus 5x plus 6 over x minus 2. So when you apply the limit here, so what happened? If I replace x is equals to, so it becomes you have 4 minus 10 plus 6 over 2 minus 2, which is equal 0 over 0. This is an indeterminate form. So whenever you will have an indeterminate form and the given function is a polynomial, so you have to factorize the term. So what is the factorize in the numerator here? So limit x approaches to 2. So it is already in the factored form in the denominator. What about the numerator? So the factorization here is x minus 2, x minus 3. So this is a factorization. Now if you cancel, you will get x minus 2, x minus 2 cancel. Now apply the limit, you will have what? The limit x approaches to 2. The remaining term is x minus 3. When you apply the limit, you will get minus 1. So whenever you will have an indeterminate form and the given function is a polynomial, you have to factorize. You have to factorize the polynomial. So this is the second type of the problem. Now let us go to the next one. We have evaluate a limit x approaches to 3. Limit x approaches to 3, square root of x plus 1 minus 2 over x minus 3. So here when you apply the limit here, so what happened? When you replace x is equals 3, you will get 3 plus 1, 4, square root of 4 which is 2 minus outside you have 2 over 3 minus 3 which is equal 0 over 0 form. Therefore again it is indeterminate form, but the given function in this case is the root radical function. So how will you solve this type of problem? So you have x approaches to 3, x minus 3, square root of x plus 1 minus 2. Now I can multiply the conjugate of this term. What is the conjugate of this term? The root term. So it is square root of x plus 1 plus 2 over, it is square root of x plus 1 plus 2. To balance the equation, we have to multiply and divide by the conjugate. So this is the conjugate, multiplying conjugate concept. Whenever you will see the function is the root, if you will getting after applying the limit, you will get indeterminate form, multiply the conjugate. If it is plus, I multiply minus. If it is minus, I will multiply plus. Now this is of the form, this is of the form a minus b, this is a plus b. So we know that a plus b into a minus b, which is equal a square minus b square. Now we are going to apply the same result here. So what happened? Limit x approaches to 3. In the denominator, it's going to be the same, x minus 3 and square root of x plus 1 plus 2. In the numerator, what happened here? This is a square. A square means the roots will be cancelled. It is actually x plus 1 whole square minus 2 square. And then this minus the root and get cancelled. So you will have the value in the numerator as limit x approaches to 3, and here x plus 1 minus 4, 2 square is 4 over. And one more thing I want to make sure here, I point out this one, x minus 3, and here if you write it without bracket, it means that this x minus 3, this is a one term. No, it is not the one term. So you have what? Is a bracket, because this is actually the entire term you have to multiply with these terms. So very important thing, you have to use a bracket here. Now I will use here x minus 3 and square root of x plus 1 plus 2. Now if you simplify, what is this one? X. So if you simplify this part, you will get minus 3. So x minus 3, x minus 3 get cancelled. So what are the remaining things you have here? Limit x approaches to 3. Limit x approaches to 3. And then you have 1 over square root of x plus 1 plus 2. Now apply the limit 1 over. When you replace x as 3, you will get 3 plus 1. It is square root of 4 plus 2. So square root of 4, which in turn implies 2 plus 2, which is equal 1 over 4. So this is a 3 different types of problems in the limits you have. It is a one is direct. The second one, if you have a 0 over 0, the given function is a polynomial, factorized. And if the given function is a root, the radical, so I can multiply the conjugate if you have an indeterminate form when you apply the limit. We will solve one more problem in the root, the radical. So let us go with the next problem. Here, limit x approaches to 9. And here 9 minus x over 3 minus square root of x. So here when you apply the limit, you will get 9 minus 9 0. 3 minus root 9, which is 0. Therefore it is an indeterminate form. Now I have to multiply the conjugate. Why we are multiplying conjugate? Because you will have the root in the denominator. So if you multiply, what will get? So limit x approaches to 9. 9 minus x over 3 minus root x. Now I multiply by the conjugate. So what is the conjugate here? So the conjugate of the root, not the numerator. So conjugate is 3 plus root x, and here 3 plus root x, which in turn implies limit x approaches to 9. So in the numerator, no change, x minus 9 minus x, and last you have to write it the brackets here. So here 3 plus square root of x. Now this is of the same format here, a minus b, a plus b, which is equal a square, 3 square minus b square. Jadar and square get cancelled, root and square get cancelled. You will have the x only term. Now, if you write it this term in the proper form, you will get this is 9 minus x. 9 minus x. Now, this one and this one get cancelled. This one and this one get cancelled. Now apply the limits. So what happened here? Limit x approaches to 9. The remaining terms you have is 3 plus root x. When you apply the limit here, you will get 3 plus root 9, which is equal 3 plus 3, which is equal 6. So with this we complete. So this is the three different types of problems we will have in the limits. One is direct, another one is a factor method if it is a polynomial, and another one is a multiplying conjugate if the function is the root function. Thanks for watching.